What's a quote that has just stuck with you? Quote: if you don't know what you want, you end up with a lot you don't. If you're going throughout hell, keep going. Winston Churchill. Quote: not my circus, not my monkeys. We can't fix a problem if we don't first acknowledge it. Quote: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. It's really helped me work around being lazy and procrastinating. I can't really explain why though. Quote: whenever I am about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. Quote: Dwight K. Schrute, The Office. I am in an artistic business, and I am currently lucky enough to be making good money creating content I love and seeing people enjoy it. So my dad told me this quote, which I believe was from JFK. Quote: there's always room for one more good one. Quote: if you're out there plodding away at something you love and find fun, keep at it. Everyone might say it's impossible to enter the music biz, or to write a great book, or to become an amazing designer. But there's always room for one more good one. I hope you live a life you're proud of. If you find that you are not, I hope you have the strength to start all over again. Quote: follow your heart, but take your brain with you. No idea who said it, but I love it. Comparison is the thief of joy. Quote: I believe that when we leave a place, a part of it goes with us and part of us remains. Go anywhere in these halls when it is quiet and just listen. After a while you will hear the echoes of all of our conversations. Every thought and word we've exchanged. Long after we are gone, our voices will linger in these walls. Quote: Jakar, Babylon 5. If you put someone on a pedestal, all they can do is look down on you. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. Roosevelt. We were together, I forget the rest. Quote: maybe it's sappy but it warms my heart, okay? Question mark. Quote: I can't abandon the person I used to be, so I carry her. Quote: too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. JFK. Measure twice, cut once. I have a pretty good habit of double-checking things, which helps because of how easily you can lose track without realizing it. One time, after being on a road trip for a few days with a group in a bus, we're getting off on our very last day, so I want to see the vehicle again. After being on the sidewalk for a while, I decide I may as well do one last sweep of the bus just in case anyone left something. Well, my passport was under the seat, so that was a good thing I did that. Quote: outside of a dog, a book is Mont's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. Quote: Groucho Marx. Quote: you either get busy living or get busy dying. Shawshank Redemption. There is no sadder sight than a young pessimist. Mark Twain. For riding motorcycles, don't dress for the ride, dress for the slide. Quote: how sad it is that we give up on people who are just like us. Quote: Mr. Rogers. Book 20 lines 18 to 21. Bear up, my heart. You've had worse to endure before this. Odyssey. Quote: what is better, to be born good, or to overcome your evil nature through great effort? T.S. V. And my favorite, a quote from another Redditor describing why he couldn't bring himself to hate his cheating ex-wife, who had a very troubled past. If I hated her for everything, it would be like hating shattered glass for being broken. Source credit to you, Northern Light _. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. Quote: sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. Jake the Dog. Either the brightest candles burn twice as fast, or the difference between sinners and saints is that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Never accept the world for what it appears to be. Dare to see it for what it could be. Quote, stupid people don't learn from mistakes. Smart people learn from their own mistakes. And wise people learn from others' mistakes. Quote, and these children, whom you spit on as they try to change their world, are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Quote, David Bowie. Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes? But when we look back, everything is different. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. Don't ask the blacksmith the taste of metal. Ask the horse silenced by the bit. Did they all live happily ever after? They did not. No one ever does. In spite of what the stories may say, they had their good days, as you do, and they had their bad days, and you know about those. They had their victories, as you do, and they had their defeats, and you know about those, too. There were times when they felt ashamed of themselves, knowing that they had not done their best, and there were times when they knew they had stood where their God had meant them to stand. All I am trying to say is that they lived as well as they could. Each and every one of them. Some lived longer than others, but all lived well, and bravely, and I love them all, and am not ashamed of my love. Quote, Stephen King. The Eyes of the Dragon. I found this a while ago on a thread much like this. Hope someone else who needs it finds it. Quote, the days are long, but the years are short. Quote, in regards to raising kids, so many days you just can't wait till bedtime so you can have some peace. But then sometimes you look at them and wonder how they got so big so fast. The world breaks everyone, and after many are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway. Quote, it is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Quote, when I was a kid I thought this was super deep lol. If you loan someone $20 and you never see them again, it was probably worth it. I was drinking with a friend of mine years ago and he mentioned how, in gardening, some people dig holes in their flower beds and put pint glasses in with a little bit of beer in the bottom. At night the slugs smell the beer, go over the lip, fall in, then get trapped and drown in the beer. Then he said something like, sometimes I think we're the slugs. Don't set yourself on fire just to keep others warm. Quote, this too shall pass. My mom said that a lot to me growing up. I was a really stressed out, tightly wound kid. Years down the road, I am just now realizing how right she was. Time keeps going. Life keeps going. No matter what happens, the crummy, stressful, or depressing situation you are in right now will almost certainly change. It's just a matter of time. The only thing you can keep doing is keep going through it as you, and hope for the best. It takes the stress away. So little we actually stress about has the potential to ruin our lives. If you don't believe me, can you remember what you were stressing about 10 years ago? Does it still stress you out? A person is smart but people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals. Such a serious line from a non-serious movie. Edit. I knows that it's cliché, but thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Edit 2. Fixed the quote, thanks to you, Happy Day and you, Chash 2063. Quote, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Quote, how do you unclench a tightly clenched fist? Do you apply just as much force? No. You just relax. That's how you let things go. Quote, from a dear friend who was suffering from extreme pain. Edit. Thank you all for your kind words. Receiving all these awards have put a big smile on my face, because they are a proof that I am no longer the only one benefiting from this quote. Makes me feel like I haven't just been wasting time on Reddit. Most importantly, it is also a proof that no matter what hardship you're going through right now, you're certainly not alone. You can't make a racehorse out of a pig, but you can make a very fast pig. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up people to collect wood and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. Antoine Saint-Exupéry. Find what you love and let it kill you. Charles Bukowski. I'm not Jewish, but a friend of mine invited me to a Passover Seder. There's a part of the service telling the story of Exodus, where the angels sing in praise of God as the waters of the Red Sea close over the Egyptians as they pursue the Jews. And then God admonishes them, "How can you sing while my children are drowning?" Quote, even though I'm not religious, it was a good reminder to have empathy even for people who are at odds with you. Quote, it costs a lot to be poor. Quote, the thing about happiness is that you only know you had it when it's gone. I mean, you may think to yourself that you're happy, but you don't really believe it. You focus on the petty bulls **t, or the next job, or whatever. It's only looking back by comparison with what comes after that you really understand. That's what happiness felt like. A quote from Kellogg in Fallout 4 took me by surprise, and I reflected for a moment on all I took for granted. Quote, perfection and power are overrated. Quote, Uncle Iroh, bless his soul. If you don't take risks, you risk not living. Quote, at some point in your childhood, you and your friends went outside to play together for the last time and nobody knew it. And #X200B. I think about this quote a lot. Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you want. All those days that came and went, little did I know that they were life. Fairy tales do not tell children that dragons exist. Children already know that dragons exist. Fairy tales tell children that dragons can be killed. Quote, G.K. Chesterton. Quote, did you ever try to put a broken piece of glass back together? Even if the pieces fit, you can't make it whole again the way it was. But if you're clever, you can still use the pieces to make other useful things. Maybe even something wonderful, like a mosaic. Well, the world broke just like glass, and everyone's trying to put it back together like it was. But it'll never come together in the same way. Quote, Moira Brown, Fallout 3. Alright, that's gonna do it for this one. Remember to smash that like button down below. What about you? Be sure to leave a comment down below. If you want to see more awesome content, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon too. Thanks for watching.